The squid that ate a bomb. Squid is a common dish in China that is often adorned with various sides, like different vegetables or fruit. But one fishmonger had a nasty surprise when he cut into this particular squid before serving it to a customer. He found a live bomb tucked inside. The man, called Mr. Huang, told local news that this type of squid commonly lives near the shore and most probably mistook the bomb for his favorite food. He said that the squid certainly had a big belly by the time it was caught. Local police suggested the bomb might have been dropped by a fighter jet, but they were unable to specify when this might have happened. At around 3 pounds, the aubergine-shaped bomb was pretty heavy and had the potential to cause a lot of damage. As soon as the fishmonger realized what he was seeing, he called an emergency number and the squid and bomb were taken away. The bomb ended up being detonated in a controlled explosion. Police said that despite the age of the bomb, it was still active and could have exploded at any time. The trout that ate a thumb. A man who lost his thumb in a boating accident was lucky enough to have it returned to him in the strangest way possible. Robert Lindsay said that he was at the Flaming Gorge Reservoir in Wyoming when he dived off of a boat to save a friend's daughter who'd fallen into the water. Unfortunately, the propeller was still going and it ripped off his thumb. Accepting defeat and in a lot of pain, Robert carried on with his day-to-day activities. But only 6 months later in 2008, a fisherman hooked a trout from the same water and found something very strange inside when he was cutting it up. Next to all of the usual bones and guts was a human thumb. He took the thumb to Sweetwater County Coroner Mike Voss, who publicized the finding. Robert called him up to identify the thumb, saying that he was pretty sure it was his own. Sadly, by that point, it couldn't be retracted, so Robert said that he'd just keep his old thumb in a jar. The turtle that swallowed 1,000 coins. Tourists in Bangkok, Thailand used to throw coins at a sea turtle in a pond as a sign of luck and longevity. But while they were hoping their lives would benefit from the coin toss, it was actually having an adverse effect on the sea turtle at the receiving end. The turtle started swallowing the coins, causing an intestinal block which eventually led to her becoming incredibly ill. When a local Thai Navy personnel noticed that Osman the turtle wasn't feeling well, surgeons cut her open to find out why. What shocked the veterinarian most was the vast amount of coins inside the creature. Not only were they dangerous to swallow in the first place, but the weight of the coins had cracked her underside shell. Her health was also being threatened by a fatal infection. The obstruction in her intestines meant that Osman couldn't get an adequate protein intake. The toxic nickel from the coins also damaged her immune system. Dr. Nantarika Shansu removed 915 coins, weighing 11 pounds, before Osman sadly passed away. The elephant who couldn't stop eating. Jumbo was a circus elephant who performed on both sides of the Atlantic. At his peak, he was known for having the greatest tail on earth. At the age of 7, Jumbo's appetite took off, and he'd eat 200 pounds of hay, 1 barrel of potatoes, 2 bushels of oats, 15 loaves of bread, and a slew of onions every single day. But that wasn't all that the majestic creature was taking in. When Jumbo passed away after he was accidentally hit by a train, his remains were shipped to Henry Ward's Natural Science Establishment in Rochester, New York. When he arrived, multiple people undertook the work of dissecting and stuffing him so that he could stand tall forevermore. But a man named Peters had a sad shock when he began the grueling process of removing debris from the elephant's stomach. Surprisingly, he found a whistle, a handful of keys, and enough English pennies to fill a hat. No one was quite sure how Jumbo was able to eat these items, but the mischievous creature probably did so without anyone ever noticing. The ostrich that loved handkerchiefs. Ostriches typically feast on a diet of roots, leaves, seeds, and flowers. But one bird that ended up at the Zoological Society of London seemed to prefer a different sort of food. The contents had been extracted from the animal after its death, and the results were both surprising and disappointing. The bird had spent its years at the zoo, and it seemed that visitors had been feeding it any number of inappropriate things. Inside the creature was a multitude of objects, including 2 handkerchiefs. There was also a piece of rope, various pieces of metal, coins, tacks, staples, and hooks. But the one piece that ended up causing the bird's death was a 4-inch nail. Photographer Frederick William Bond released a photo of all of the items neatly tucked into piles to show just how impressive it was that the bird managed to exist for so long. Even if this ostrich did have a penchant for high street fashion and lacy cloths, it couldn't have been healthy for it to gobble up those handkerchiefs. The alligator that ate an entire deer. The largest alligator ever recorded in the state of Alabama wasn't just famous for being so big. This creature also had a huge appetite and didn't seem to need to chew before he swallowed. The creature, which measured 15 feet long and weighed 1,011.5 pounds, managed to swallow an entire female deer. We already assumed that alligators ate a lot to give them energy to survive, but the 3-year-old deer, thought to weigh over 100 pounds itself, must have been a hefty bite. The taxidermist who cut the creature open, Ken Owens, was also surprised to find a couple of full fully intact squirrels inside of the alligator. While the deer could have lived nearby, it was strange to see woodland creatures inside of the gator's stomach. He then discovered more deer skulls, big rocks, and molars that were thought to come from a small cow. As the deer was almost fully intact, scientists assume it was swallowed no more than a week before the alligator was captured. It took a family 10 hours to take down this incredible beast. The shark that ate an entire sea lion. If you thought that an entire 100-pound deer was crazy enough, wait until you hear about the shark that ate an entire 200-pound sea lion. The 12-foot mako shark was caught off the coast of Southern California by commercial fishermen. It was given to Dr. Antonella Preti to dissect in order to unravel the mysteries of the aquatic food chain. Expecting to see a variety of fish and other small creatures, she was shocked to find an entire sea lion inside. Weighing around 200 pounds, the sea lion was almost fully intact, except for a missing flipper and multiple puncture-like bites all over its body. Sharks are known to eat almost anything, but usually favor fish, seabirds, and squid. Although they're known to eat sea lions occasionally, it was incredibly rare to see a huge one in an almost complete form. Not only did the find help the doctor to delve deeper into the ocean's food chain, it also helped scientists of the future. The mako shark's organs were donated to science after it was caught and dissected. The snake that ate his own blanket. Sure, snakes might be cold-blooded, but they don't usually resort to eating electric blankets to warm themselves up. But that's exactly what Houdini the Burmese python did, and it almost proved to be fatal. Houdini had to undergo emergency surgery once his owner realized that he hadn't just eaten his food for dinner, but also the blanket that he had gotten caught up in. The 12-foot python ate the entire queen-size blanket, electrical cord, and control box in one go. It's thought that the wiring extended through just over 8 feet of the creature's digestive tract. Its Idaho owner, Carl Biznaska, explained that he kept the blanket around the snake because pythons are unable to generate their own heat. Although the gesture was well-meaning and necessary for Houdini's survival, it almost could have cost him his life. He was rushed to a vet who'd actually never performed surgery on a snake before and had to call in some experts. Luckily, the combined team was able to remove the blanket and Houdini survived the ordeal. The whale that swallowed a plastic wall. Plastic in the ocean is definitely not a new problem, but it's becoming increasingly dangerous for the animals of the sea. One of the animals most susceptible to plastic damage are whales. When a sperm whale was found stranded in the Netherlands, a team worked tirelessly to rescue the creature. Unfortunately, it passed away and was taken in for an autopsy. When scientists cut the whale open, they discovered vast amounts of plastic inside. But instead of just bottles and cans filling up the animal's stomach, they also found something of a much larger size: sheets of plastic used to build greenhouses. These sheets, which were the size of standard walls, were coating the intestines of the whale, which eventually caused an entire blockage. These creatures might be huge, but their intestinal tract still isn't big enough to hold plastic the size of a wall. And that wasn't all that scientists found. There was also just under 30 feet of rope, plastic bags, 2 stretches of hose pipe, and 2 small flower pots inside. The puppy that swallowed a knife. You can never be too careful around puppies because they'll try and chew on absolutely anything, and that's something that Irene Paisley from Scotland learned when her 12-year-old Staffordshire Bull Terrier swallowed an 8-inch knife in one go. She didn't know what the puppy had chowed down and feared the worst when the dog started making squeaking noises. Macy the puppy was rushed to a vet when an x-ray revealed that she had swallowed an entire knife. Somehow, the knife hadn't cut through her insides when it made its way past her throat, through her stomach, and into her intestines. It was there that the knife was dangerously left resting. While the family feared the worst, emergency surgery meant that Macy could soon be healthy again. The vet explained that Macy probably wouldn't have had the same happy result if she swallowed the knife blade first. The morning after the surgery, Macy was bouncing around as if nothing had ever happened.